Salutations, fellow nerds. I'm Rick Y, and today is March 25th, 2025. At this point, we are all very well aware of the intelligence meeting that Trump's defense team chose to hold with an editor-in-chief for The Atlantic, a publication that has never been too friendly with this administration. Since the palace intrigue is high and literally everyone is sharing their opinions on it, I figured that I would also jump in and take a swing at these idiots because this mistake was very much a huge error in ways that are very difficult to express to those unfamiliar with the process of how classified information is usually handled and maintained. But there is also some other interesting information that I thought I would talk about when it comes to the Fifth Fleet and the goings-on in that region. So if you enjoy news, history, or just humorous American hogwash, make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat. Let's get at it. Yesterday, it was revealed that the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic was added to a chat group with members of Donald Trump's cabinet discussing active military operations in Yemen. From what I understand and what has actually been revealed, it was timing, ordnance, location, and even sequencing for the attacks. This is tippy-top talk with titular toadies. Not only were they frivolously chatting on a platform called Signal, which we will get to in a minute, someone in that sphere thought it would be wise to add a journalist to this discussion. This journalist then verified the accuracy with the Office of the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. Keep in mind, although it wasn't the defense secretary's express fault, as the person who added the gentleman from The Atlantic was a national security advisor by the name of Mike Waltz, the gravity of the misstep and consequences still aren't known at the time of this recording. What is noteworthy is the name of this group, which is called Houthis PC Group, and that is what is standing out at the moment because PC stands for Principals Committee, which means only cabinet secretary and above are authorized to have or know this information. If you were not handpicked by Donald Trump to work for him, you should not have eyes on this. It's that secret. This meeting itself had officials such as Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and CIA Director John Radcliffe, and others. So what's going to happen? Long and short of it, I believe someone's head's going to roll, and I'm not usually a betting man, but I would have to say it's either or Mike Waltz and Pete Hegseth. This is coming from my own personal conjecture, but at this moment in time, given the amount of content when it comes to Pete Hegseth and his explicit knowledge of security processes and deeply held beliefs when it comes to his opinion on those who are given the privilege of having access to that information, he really stands out in this. Sincerely, keep in mind he is currently a Republican, a veteran, and a Secretary of Defense.
Pete, if this were a Republican divulging the secrets of our nation at the very highest level, that person would be in prison. There would be outrage across the board. But here, it's covered up. It's incredible.
No, the double standard is incredible. Imagine if it was, I don't know, Donald Trump, what the media would be doing to him right now, eviscerating him. Or imagine if it was a member of the military, which we've seen from General Cartwright and General Petraeus. They still go after these guys for a tiny, tiny fraction of what she willfully did and betrayed her country in doing so, supposedly for convenience, but actually so she could have a different set of standards and hide her conduct and the conduct of the Clinton Foundation, Benghazi, everything else, so she could stay away from and above the law. And it turns out foreign services want to know what our Secretary of State thinks.
Whoopsie! See, if there's one thing that Donald Trump has made clear, it's that he doesn't take kindly to public humiliation. And while he did, in fact, try to blame the editor and The Atlantic itself for this mishap, it was obvious during the press conference where he was questioned about it that he had been taken aback. What I'm curious to know is where Susie Wiles is on all of this, because the looks that lady gives people is scary. She's everybody's perpetually disappointed grandmother, and from what I understand, she's also a pit bull and won't play around. Mike Waltz isn't what Trump would call a character from central casting because this whole world is the Trump show, and we're just all here to navigate our own ways through it. But that means canning his ass won't have the same power that going after higher level officials would, and while many think Trump only cares about loyalty, I would add that he cares only about loyalty in one direction. If you're not performing up to speed, i.e. humiliating him in front of the world, he isn't going to be happy about it. I can only imagine how much ketchup is flying around the dining room. But somebody should be fired for this and even investigated as well. All joking aside, this may not be just a mere idiotic mistake, but a huge legal issue as well. The seriousness of this moment can't be ignored. The biggest issue is how loud Pete Hegseth chose to be when it came to his time on Fox when they were trying to bury Hillary Clinton in 2016. He epitomizes the very person that he was railing against back then for the same type of crime. He currently holds the key of embarrassment for the debacle. If we refer back to Trump's first term and the turnover rate of all of the best people, you will see why I'm currently focusing on watching old Pete take the heat. But what is this all about? Well, there's a group of rebels that originated back in northern Yemen back in the 1990s called the Houthis. Originally, they were set up as a religious revivalist group for Muslims, specifically the Zaida Shia community. And over time, they radicalized into a rebellious political military movement, not unlike the Christian rebel political military movements that we have here, like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. The primary difference is that they oppose what they see as Western imperialism, influenced by the Saudi Arabian government, and corruption within the government of Yemen. There are a lot of others, but these are the three primary reasons that you need to help navigate the motivations in the Middle East. From 2004 to 2010, they waged a number of wars against the Yemen government. From the years of 2014 and 2015, they actually took control of Yemen's capital and overthrew the government. And ever since 2015, they've been fighting a bloody and brutal civil war with the government state forces of Yemen and coalition forces that are currently backed by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. There's a strong reason to believe that they have been actively backed by Iranian forces, but due to current fog of war, I cannot responsibly confirm nor deny that at this point. My opinion is that I don't see why they wouldn't. This is important because from 2023 to 2025, they have used the war in Gaza as justification to target ships in the Red Sea with alleged Iranian-supplied munitions. And the Houthis are designated as a terrorist organization as of 2024, which actually re-escalated tensions all across the region. You see, once designated as a foreign terrorist organization, or FTO, or under specially designated global terrorist status, any interaction, planning, or discussion involving them becomes a highly sensitive issue under U.S. and international law. Leaking such information could compromise the mission, endanger the lives of service personnel, and violate federal laws governing classified information and national security. Any military planning against them is a part of a larger geopolitical conflict involving Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Israel. Casually sharing details about strikes against them could affect not just our own interests, but global diplomacy and security alliances. The ramifications of this leak really cannot be understated. It wasn't theoretical. It involved active planning against a recognized threat. Anybody trying to downplay this, I can assure you, is clueless or excusing behavior and activity that they never would were any other administration, Republican or Democrat. This is serious. And not to make it personal, but, and this is already public knowledge, so that's why I'm sharing it with you now. My wife is currently deployed on the Carl Vinson. She has been since November. She was to hit a port and start making her way back home, but instead the administration extended her deployment an additional 3 months so they can meet up with the USS Truman and help carry out the very strikes this administration is being so casual about. There have already been missiles actively fired at our ships by the Houthis, and they have had to intercept incoming threats. That said, it is difficult in some ways to speak on this given my personal closeness with the situation, but I will do what I can to present these things professionally and fully disclose my personal opinions so as to separate them from facts. So until we see who is going to take the fall for this calamitous display of incompetence, we will just have to keep our ears to the ground. I appreciate you all hanging in there with me. If you dig the content, consider liking and subscribing. It goes an incredibly long way in delivering the message to those who need to hear it. Sometimes it's all we really need is the right person telling us what we need to hear. And if I can be that right person for somebody out there, even one, then I feel I've made all of the difference. So thank you guys so much for your viewership and unwavering support. Y'all come back now. You hear?